Welcome to A Funny Feeling Podcast. I'm Betsy Sodaro.
And I'm Marcy Jarrow. This is a podcast where comedians tell us their paranormal experiences, and we listen to yours as well.
Oh, yeah. And if you have one of these paranormal experiences that you want to share with us, please email it to us at funnyfeelingpod@gmail.com.
Now get cozy.
And prepare yourself to be scared silly.
This is a Funny Feeling Podcast.
Get it out of there.
There's a cattail. Betsy.
Marcy, I'm so pumped.
I'm so pumped too. It's all been leading up to this. Very excited for our guest. Important person to both of us, old friend. But you've seen him acting, and you've seen his work everywhere. He's written on Big Mouth, Single Parents, New Girl, and now he's my boss and the co-creator of Kevin, Joe Wengert.
Yay!
Joe,
two of my favorites. Don't refer to me as your boss. I absolutely hate that every single time.
I love it because you're my favorite boss. You and Daniela Pally. You and Daniela Pally are tied. She was a great person to work for as well.
Nice.
What do I have to do to bump her down to number 2?
Yeah.
Let me text. I'm going to text some people, find out some bad things about her. And
Yeah. You know,
Really
if she
drag
says
her through the
something mean to
mud.
Trevor, yeah. Let's get a season 3 of Kevin, and then we'll see how it goes.
I'm going to get worse.
Yeah.
The show hasn't come out yet. Once the show comes out, it's all going to go to my head, and that's when I'm going to be real.
Yeah, you're going
I
to be
can't
such
wait
an
for-
asshole, Joe.
When Joe starts coming to work in a 3-piece suit and he's vaping in the office. So
it was an interesting work experience because, like many people in the show, I've had like a long relationship with. So it is like weird to then kind of like not just want to goof around, but also be like, we got to get something done, or like when something isn't, we need to keep figuring out the story to have to say like, I don't think this is good enough. I like absolutely hate it because I'm like, these are my friends. And then also I feel like I had moments where like I would be having something going on in my personal life and I was like, I don't know what to do. And Murph, our friend Dan Murphy, who's one of the other co-EPs, was like, just tell them what's going on. Like there was one day where we thought we screwed up and she wasn't going to get into kindergarten at our local school because we filled out the wrong form. And it's like funny because the whole writer's room is like so scared because they don't know what's going. Like they're like looking at me like, did the show get canceled? And it's like, no, but it's this other thing that's really bad for me. And it was nice. I feel like you guys were really good at like taking care of me when I was having a bad thing going on.
I mean, you did a thing that none of my other bosses have done, besides Daniela. That's why I like her, I guess, is that you would acknowledge what was going on, like you said, and then if you were like, and I'm sorry if that was weird, and then you would move on and not make us suffer for the rest of the day like every other boss I've ever. Let me tell you, when we talk about order and stuff and like getting things done, we never stayed till 11 p.m., especially not 90% of my days working there. So that was great that it was always, he runs a tight ship.
That's great.
There's at a certain point, I worked with a guy at New Girl, very great writer named Berkeley Johnson. He's also written for like Conan and a million things. And he was always like, at a certain point, we're just making like the newest version of the script. We're not making the best version. We're making the newest version. I think like at a certain point, you've kind of like, you've gotten it and you can drive yourself crazy trying to perfect things. But I also think with animation, like we get so many chances to improve it down the line that even a neurotic person like me can go like, we're going to get more chances to sort of make this funnier or better.
Betsy, you must know that better than most people, that like you can just go in and go back in and go back in and re-record and change stuff, right?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's a dream. Did you ever watch, I think it's 6 Days Till Air, the South Park documentary?
No, I haven't seen that yet. I gotta watch
it,
that.
Joe. One of the biggest things that stuck with me, and Marcy, watch it, is
like
like
it too.
They I can't remember which one of the dudes, but he's pretty much like, if we had a whole month to work on an episode, we would spend the last 3 weeks trying to make it 2% funnier.
Yeah.
Like, and that like really struck me of like, oh yeah, I feel that happens a lot. Or when you start to get rid of jokes and stuff that were working, but you've seen it so many times where you're like, I guess we make kind of a new just a new script over
At a certain
and
point, it's
over.
just going to be a lateral move,
Yeah.
unless if you're going to really like do some huge overhaul, which a lot of times then that's diminishing returns because there was probably something good about the first version of the
Yes.
story that you had.
Yep. Yeah.
By
I
the
think
end, animation is a long process, and this show in particular had a very long, circuitous path to getting made.
Yeah.
So by the end, when we were finally like doing the final mixes, I was like saying to Angelo, our supervising director, like, I need someone to take this away from me
Yes.
because I was starting to like look at lines that had gotten a laugh every single time
Yep.
we had screened it or showed it to somebody and being like, I'm not sure about that because it's just, I think in our nature as like comedians
Yes.
to try and always like beat things and make things better.
Yeah.
it was such a fun experience, though, learning how animation works. But to your point of like adding stuff, we were in the edit and we added vignettes to my episode that were so fun in that like montage. So I was like, wait,
Yep.
you can do that now when we
Yep.
should be wrapping this thing up or adding new stuff?
Cool.
Yeah, and like with animation, you can add like visual jokes and sign jokes, and
Yeah.
we added at one point in Marcy's episode, Cupcake, Whoopi Goldberg's character is like walking into a movie theater, and we wanted like a fake movie for the movie theater. We must have come up with like 500 different movies, and then one of them was Happiest Season 2, Riley's Revenge,
Yes.
which was like that'll be like a fun nod to like Aubrey.
That's
And
so funny.
like I'm really glad we did that joke because that joke is like getting people talking about the show. Because now I was doing press 2 weeks ago and I had 2 people be like, is that going to be a real movie now? And I was like, maybe we've incepted it. And then like, now maybe it will.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Because yeah, Aubrey's talked about it in press. It's so funny because so Kevin, it's streaming on Amazon now, guys. But it's Joe's real cat that I knew this cat when they were kittens with Howard and Kevin, like came home and they were the littlest black and white tuxedo babies. And it's a real cat. The first day of the writer's room, I've said to you before that I walked in and I see this like picture of Kevin and I was like, I'm going to cry because I love my cat so much that I'm like, just to be like, he gets to live on forever now.
Yes.
It really like I feel like you have a similar relationship with your cats, Marcy, but like we had 3 paintings up in the writer's room because the Christmas after the real Kevin died, which is sad. Don't let that stop you from watching the show. He lives forever now that there's a show.
Yes.
But that
Yes.
Christmas, I got 3 different paintings of him from 3 different people in my life. And there was something about that in the moment where I was like, am I too into my cat?
Nope.
But and this show is not going to help me beat those he's too into his cat allegations. But it was like it definitely helped like me sort of like feel like this. I had this desire to sort of talk about him and think about him in a way
Yes.
that was, I think, provided a good inspiration.
Yeah.
Oh,
Also,
that's so nice.
Marcy though was insufferable in the room because she was always like, the real Kevin wouldn't say that. I knew the real Kevin. I was holding him. And
I held him.
Rubbing
I
it
know
in.
him. I would channel him. Also, I was gonna say, Sit Ubu Sit. You're not as obsessed as Sit Ubu Sit guy. Remember
Yep.
Sit Ubu Sit from
Yes.
TGI Fridays? Not Fridays,
Yes.
but
from Cheers, right? No.
Yeah, so
Was
my
he-
mom would say it to us.
it was
There,
like
he was a big producer. Maybe it was Family Ties.
I feel like
Was
I would
that
see him on
Sit Ubu Sit?
Friday nights, whatever the Friday night lineup was on NBC or whatever it was. But anyway, they live on.
I mean, they did make me make like a production card for the end, and if the whole show wasn't about Kevin, there's like a decent chance that my production card would have been about Kevin. But it just feels like too much to then at the end be like, I really love my cat. In case you haven't figured it out.
I really
yet.
love my cat, Kevin Productions. Oh my god.
He's very special and he's so cute. Look how cute he's being. That happened a lot in the room. Look how
Oh.
cute he's being there.
What a dream.
We just like like anybody that would make a show about their pet would probably have the same experience, but we did have like 1 billion pictures of
Good.
him and his brother Howard. So it was really nice when it came time to design. Anytime the artist needed to see something, we had like so many pictures of him. Our character designs were done by a guy named Daniel Katz, who's, first of all, his name is perfect for the show.
Perfect.
Katz.
He had never done art before, but you're like, your last name's Katz? Come on. Learn how to draw. Come on now.
But like, I like absolutely like overwhelmed. I sent him 800 pictures when it was time to do the design. It was just too much, you know.
Did Jason Schwartzman, who plays Kevin, did he do a study of the cat? Did you pet him? Did you ever make him crawl over to you?
He didn't get that method, but he did. He when he came onto the project, I mean, he was like our top choice, and like Aubrey loves him. And when Aubrey suggested him, I like was so nervous that I was gonna have my heart broken, because I'd been such a fan of his, like basically since he first has come out. And the thing I always remember is like, after he read the script, he's like, yeah, I really think there's something cool here, because you know, Kevin's got to figure this out. Cats don't have as much time as us to figure their lives out. And I was like, whoa, that's like a very deep, like beautiful approach to like, you know, there's the silly show. There's a lot of like jokes about his butthole and stuff in it, but he really brought like a depth and a humanity to him, which even is maybe a problem because he's a cat, but cats have humanity, right?
Yeah, some of them, not all of them. Like, if I look
Now,
around the room of my 3 fat cats, they're not all human.
I always forget. It's Mama and Honey, and I always forget the third one.
Buster.
Baby? Buster. I know it's a baby.
Buster.
It's a yeah. It's
If
the most
you
animal name.
If we had a tough choice in that Kevin had a brother named Howard, we thought about doing a show with 2 cats, but really it's about like, you know, finding your place and getting over a breakup and being alone. So we were like, we can't give him a partner in that. But I feel this like betrayal and this guilt for choosing Kevin over Howard. So I'm going to ask you, Marcy, if you had to pick one of those 3 to be the star of your show, who would it be?
I mean, I know immediately. Can you guys guess?
I feel like Mama. Is it just because Mama seems like the craziest?
No, it's Honey, because she's the one that I can't touch.
So she's got a whole other life that you know nothing about. She's running a cat casino or something.
She's so complicated to me, and also like she has attacked me very viciously, and she turns feral, but she's also this, I can tell there's such a sweetness to her, and like it's like something happened that really scared her once in the first 8 weeks of her life, and she just can't get over it. Where the other ones have forgotten. They can be a little flinchy, but there's no like, she's something very, and it's not a comedy. It's gritty. It's a gritty drama.
That's, you know, one of my other great secret shame is now I have a dog. I have this show coming out about a cat, but I have a dog named Tony. And Marcy thinks Tony is good because I brought him into work, and he's good when I bring him to work, but he's actually got a lot of issues, and he has like severe separation anxiety. But I feel the same way about him, of like, something happened to you to make you have this fear that I'm going to go and never come back. And now we're like 8 years in, and he still has it so acutely. And I want to know how to get them to go like, I'm coming back. Although I did just leave for New York for a week, which probably set me back.
But every time you come back, it should give you some points. Betsy, Wilma's just perfect, right?
Wilma's
just like
perfect. No issues.
It's because she's been with you guys since she was little too, huh?
Yep. Yeah, we've had her since she was a little baby. But she will have those times of just like, where are you going? How could you leave me? We were just all sitting on the couch. Why don't you want to do that? And she'll like sit at the door and try to block us from leaving, and it's like, sorry, buddy.
Like Tony's is almost very sweet because it isn't just with me and Holly and our daughter. It's like when you come over, if you leave, he's like, Betsy can't leave. Betsy's here forever now. The second you come in, he's like,
so
you're a part of the
cute.
family and the pack, and I can't let
Oh,
you go.
He's so
it's
cute.
I love him. I think he's perfect. But okay, we're gonna get into
Yeah.
the real meat here.
Oh, let's get scared. Or not. Or
and
have fun. Or have fun.
We're gonna ask the question we always ask, which is, what do you, if anything, do you believe about the paranormal?
I don't have any like personal evidence. I haven't had any sort of interaction, and I haven't wanted it. But I've like I'm not ready to rule out that it's not real, just because I have such an intense fear of like the dark and of nighttime and of being alone.
Yes.
And I feel like that's got to be some sort of learned, like passed down in my bones instinctual thing. And it's either from predators, big toothed animals that were trying to eat my ancestors, or ghosts and stuff, right?
Right.
Like it's too irrational, but also real. That makes me think
Because it is like
there's got to be something.
we've had guests on and stuff of where it is like, I do not believe in ghosts, but boy oh boy, I don't want to be in the dark by myself. You know, like, and it is like, what is that? If you're kind of like, nope, there's nothing paranormal out there, whatever, but I refuse to go walk through a graveyard at night. It's like, yeah, okay. What is that? Yeah.
I think part of what has stopped me from not having any sort of interactions is that, like, I mean, I lived in like the suburbs of Philadelphia in like a very populated area, in like a neighborhood where like lots of little houses were smushed in there, and I lived in like a ranch house, and those like aren't scary. So even in the dead of the night, if it was super dark and I didn't have my TV on, because I had a TV in my bedroom by the time I was like 9 years old, like I could hear my dad snoring, or you could hear something happening outside, and that just makes it like less scary. We didn't have an attic or a basement. We had like a crawl space. Monsters don't want to be in a crawl space. A ghost doesn't want to be hanging out down in a crawl space. Although the entrance to the crawl space was through my bedroom closet, which I was like, always had a ton of shit piled on top of that.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't remember ever being afraid of a ghost in my house, but if I would have had like something like that, I would have been like, someone's living in there. Someone's in the walls. But I didn't have that. And then we converted our attic into, my parents had an office up there, so there was no places that anything could go. So, but I would have been, and we even had like a laundry chute from the from the top, so like we could literally open it up and talk to our parents.
Whoa, cool.
But I would have been terrified of humans in my house.
Yeah, I guess I never really considered that, but that would have been pretty, to hear any sort of scratching or anything from down in the crawl space.
Yeah,
would have been bad.
That would. I never thought of that as a kid.
When there would be like plumbing problems, like my dad would have to go down there, and he was always like trying to teach me stuff, which I largely ignored. But that was one thing I just refused. I was like, I'm not going down there. I don't need to know how to shut the water main off.
You could have been Joe the plumber.
I could have been Joe the plumber.
Yeah, remember Joe the plumber? He factored in a long time ago. Remember the election?
Yeah,
Wasn't that the guy?
Yeah. Joe the plumber.
Now, where do you fall in like believing in like UFOs or life outside of Earth?
Again, it's like I feel like with the world that we live in now, and with technology and with cameras are as good as they are, I feel like we would have had better evidence of it by now. I like hearing about it. I like talking with friends who really are into that stuff, and who are sure that it does exist. But if it's like the government hiding it and not telling us, especially now, it feels like they're not good at doing anything. Why would they be good at hiding that? Especially Trump. It feels like if Trump really had really good pictures of aliens, he would have showed us by now.
He would have been trying to impress like some rich prince or something be like, "We got aliens, huh?"
Well, I gotta say, there's some files he's good at hiding.
That's true, Marcy. Yeah,
You
yeah,
know.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
true.
yeah,
A
yeah,
lot
yeah.
of disclosure happening lately, but for a long time, lots of secrets were held.
Yeah.
But wait, I know you're a Halloween person though,
Yes.
because there's before I worked with Joe, there would be at least once a year I would run into him at some Halloween based event.
Yes.
I've always been, I like being scared and scaring, and I would do a lot of like scaring myself when I was a kid, because I was like a very like staying at home, like raised by TV kind of kid.
Yeah.
And I would really get into like the safe version for me would be like Saturday afternoons. They would play horror movies on like, like Channel 17, like whatever, like the
Yes.
show with like the channel with syndicated shows. And that always felt safe because like they weren't going full gore and full scary. And it would also be like sillier stuff. Like I remember there was a movie called like The Gate or like Hell Gate or something
Yes.
that was like scary but also kind of silly. Did you ever see Chud or
Yes.
Chud 2, Bud
Yes.
the
Chud
Chud?
2 rules. I think
Chud 2 is like
it's way
it's
better
funny.
than Chud 1. It's
I
legit
remember
funny. Yeah.
Chud 2, they were like, our effects kind of suck, and this whole thing doesn't really make sense. Chud stands for cannibalistic humanoid underground dweller, so they're kind of like zombies.
Yeah.
And in Chud 2, they're just like, we're just going all in
They're
on
goofing
comedy.
around. It's fun.
I remember being very little and like when I would go to my mom's house, my mom's mom, that was a scarier house because they had a second floor and I had to stay on the second floor, and they had a basement and they had like nicer cable than we did. So they would get this like special like TV guide that went with their cable system where you could read the descriptions of movies.
Cool.
And I would read the descriptions of horror movies and like scare the shit out of myself. But then when I would finally see the movie, like I remember for some reason, I thought the movie Basket Case sounded so scary to me about like a guy
I
who
love
carries a
Basket
little like,
Case.
he has like a little Siamese, like, we kind of put a version of Basket Case in your episode of Kevin, actually, Marcy.
Cool.
There's like a cat version of Basket Case in there.
Great.
Then when I finally saw that movie, I'm like, this is hilarious.
It's-
This is like not at all as scary as it was in my mind.
Yes. Yes.
And like it's hard for like I think scary movies to do hilarious without it being like undercutting it, but I always think of a funny scary movie. My favorite funny scary movie was Cabin in the Woods, because I was like,
I love that movie.
it's not funny because it's bad. It's very good and scary.
It's on purpose funny
Yes.
and
Yes.
actually scary.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. I love that movie so much.
Oh, it almost didn't get released.
I know, it's so crazy.
On the
That
shelf.
is
for
one of the
2
best
years.
like Act 3 like payoff moments. And I can't believe, especially in how everyone's so afraid of like banking on a wholly new idea now, that they haven't somehow figured out a way to turn that into its own like cinematic universe. Like I want to see a movie about every one of those monsters.
That
comes out.
ballerina with just a mouth face, like, yeah, I want to see what's going on.
I mean, I bet Drew Goddard, who it was his first movie, I think, because I babysat for him when it came out, because he was like, I didn't think this
cool.
was gonna happen. They went to
Oh,
like go take
wow.
pictures of billboards, and he was like, you have no idea. Like I really never thought this was coming out. And thank God Chris Hemsworth got really famous after the movie was made. But he seems like someone who really could. Maybe it's the Joss Whedon of it all that kind of holds it up.
Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so, did you grow up? I feel like almost everyone I know grew up Catholic. Were you? Did you grow up? Yes.
Yeah.
Do you think that plays into any of like? For even your family, like I think it's so much easier for people to believe in ghosts when they are Catholic, or to go the other way, I guess, too, to be like, I'm not doing that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I really believed in all of that stuff growing up, and there was certainly a lot of talk about like heaven and our loved ones being in ghost form and everything.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. Like, I found church to be kind of scary. I
Yeah.
mean, because
Super
like a Roman
scary.
Catholic church, like we had like a pretty gory like
Yeah.
Jesus on the crucifix
Same.
right up in the front. And so I had this weird like two things going on where that stuff is scary, but at the same time, like crucify was just a verb that like my mom used very like not
I'll
the
crucify
opposite of
you. Do the
sparingly
dishes.
often. Like anything, it was be like if it was she had a hard day at work, she would be like, I was getting crucified at work today. And it's
Oh.
like that's not the right word to use for whatever minor nuisance you were dealing with.
When we were was it Palm Sunday or was it the 13 stages where at one point in church you had to scream out, crucify him,
That was Good
crucify him.
Friday. Because I remember
Yes.
my sisters and I would look forward to that part where the
Yes.
audience, yeah, I guess the congregation or whatever, that was your part during the gospel was to scream crucify him. And me and my sisters would just be like waiting and just like, crucify him! Like we thought it was so silly we had to scream crucify him.
See, I wish I had like that sort of outlook and attitude. Everything about church, I would get claustrophobic because it was a lot of people packed in.
Yes.
But then I think also just like the heavy vibes of church, I would like faint in church a lot. Or I would
Faint?
yeah.
That's
Or I would
spooky.
like feel like I was going to faint and then go and like hang out in the bathroom where it was like cooler. And it's like the bathroom at church is just a weird place
It's
to
a
be
weird
at.
vibe. It's a weird
That's where I would
vibe.
get in trouble. They'd be like, we're going to go to the bathroom if you don't behave.
Whoa. It's an intense place of like chanting and pray and yeah, like a weird energy of like people are coming here with all sorts of like desperation or whatever it is, and it is really intense. Especially as
Like
a
Yeah.
even
kid
the
to be like,
nice stuff
what?
when they're like, you're gonna does anybody want us to say, when they would like pray for the sick people and stuff. It's
Yes.
like then I'm thinking about like the mortality of my family
Yeah.
and like it's just
Yeah.
There's a
crazy.
lot
I
of
did
death
see
stuff.
a pretty funny and morbid joke on TikTok where this girl was like, you think Jesus looks around, he's like, these motherfuckers can't wait to crucify someone again. Because he's like, why are they celebrating it so much? That's sick.
It's such a weird
The
thing to remember in
the
such
worst,
detail
my
every year.
worst
It's
day.
so
That's my
weird.
worst day.
It's so weird. It's so strange. So, Joe, growing up in like Philadelphia, that's a spooky area. There's a lot of history and stuff.
It's very old. It's very
Yeah.
old.
Did
Yeah.
were there any like urban legends or like like living history museums that you would go to as a kid and just be like, "Ooh, this feels like kind of creepy or whatever."
All of my stuff, all of my memories of that stuff was all like very positive.
Yeah.
Like to me, there's like two versions. There's like you either get into like the Mutter Museum of like medical oddities and you're into that sort of stuff, which
Right.
I'm surprised that I wasn't into because I was like a big Tim Burton head when I was a kid. Or you're really into like the art museum and it's all Rocky. And like Rocky is never died and will never die. Or
Oh.
like there was like the Franklin Institute where we would do like a sleepover inside the Franklin Institute with the Boy Scouts. And like
Cool.
that sounds like it could be scary. Truly the happiest moments of my childhood.
Oh,
It's like there's a big heart that you could walk in through. And like I didn't do a
Cool.
lot of sleepovers because I went to bed till I was 10 years old. Like that
Yeah.
was one weekend where like my mom and dad would just get me ready. They would get me ready, and like I just like wouldn't drink anything for like 3 days before the Cub Scouts weekend. And the whole time I'm like, please don't let me pee. Please don't let me pee all over David
Oh,
Cunningham. But like that was like a weekend where I like actually was like doing it. So
that's
nothing
awesome.
scary there.
so you've never heard of Squonk?
Oh yeah, squonk. Have you ever heard
What
of a
is
squonk?
squawk?
We had Kate Thompson on, and she told us about the Squonk, which is she must live. She's from the more Sticks area, though, right? Like
I'm not gonna say that about Kate
she was
on
talking about
camera.
the woods. She was
Like
talking about
Buck
driving on like
County.
I've
Yes.
got wood stuff, but I want to hear Squonk
Okay.
Well,
because that was the one.
Squonk, you maybe need to look up Squonk
It's
because
cute.
she was just telling us that he's like an urban legend of this
Like
little.
a stinky little creature that like people are
It
like,
cries
ew.
and it cries all the time. So all the pictures of it are like this. It looks like a little wart that's crying, and it's kind of
I'm gonna
cute,
try to
like
pull it
pig-like.
up.
That
Squonk.
sounds like such a like Philly, Pennsylvania monster to have. Like New York has like Jason, and like we have like
Yes.
the
Oh,
Squonk,
here
and
we
he's
go.
crying.
He
A
What does he
squonk.
do?
he
He just is like
cries.
stinky and cries. Something like that. Of like, so funny.
So wait, you have woodsy stories
Well,
though?
because
Yes.
I didn't travel. I didn't go far from home for college. I went to the University of Delaware, and I mean that is like a much more rural. Delaware is like very like wooded, and there's lots of spookiness. And in probably like my sophomore or junior year, Blair Witch Project came out,
Yes.
and I don't know if you guys remember, or I think I'm a little older, so maybe I had a different experience, but like they did an excellent job of marketing that movie that like this might be a
I thought it
documentary.
Yeah.
was absolutely
This might be
real.
a real thing that happened. And then when we would go to the movies, it must have been my junior or senior year because I had my car on campus. We would drive to a nearby theater in Maryland, which is where the fucking movie
Yes.
takes place. So like
Ew.
driving home from that I was so scared. And I think I took a girlfriend, and so it's that thing of I'm so afraid that I'm seeming too afraid that like the Blair Witch is gonna get me while I'm on a date.
Yeah,
You know,
so I believed it first. I was like, this is real. And then I saw one of the actors on David Letterman, and I was like, wait, what? I thought she died. I was so confused. I was like,
no.
But
no.
like those, I would get scared driving to the woods, for like, for a party or like
Yes.
for I was an education major, so I would like have to drive to schools in Maryland. Like Maryland school districts were bad at the time, so they were like, yeah, we'll let any
Come
college kid be a
on.
volunteer here. But
Oh.
even like driving around there during the daytime is kind of scary because
Yes.
it's also like certain parts of Maryland are kind of like where, they still have like touch with their like early KKK roots and
Yeah.
things like that. It's just
Yeah.
like kind of a creepy place in a lot of different ways.
The whole Delmarva area
Yes.
is really weird. It's like a triangle of I don't know. Just I I only
It
had to
feels
go
like there
there.
could be real monsters in there. It feels
Yeah.
like there could be like some scary human monsters
I would
Yeah.
hiding
the
in those
Yeah.
woods.
the Appalachian Trail must go near there, right? I
I
always think the
don't.
Appalachian Trail is
I
everywhere
don't
though.
think
So I don't
so. Or I mean, I guess
maybe
it goes near in the sense of like
no, I think you're right. It's
up.
like Tennessee and Kentucky maybe, but
Yeah.
but anyway, I don't like it no matter what though.
No
But
matter
wait,
what.
the you know what's funny about the Blair Witch guys? I can't remember which one. I know that I want to say his name was Mike. He started a boutique advertising agency, and then
Yes.
that's who did the Shark Week. Remember how the Shark Week promos were like
Wow.
always.
Yeah.
I think that's what he got into because they tried to do other movies and like they just kind of couldn't. So he
Right.
was like, I'm in advertising now because I like freelanced at his company before. So
But
Whoa.
that was a very successful campaign, Shark Week.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
He's
like that's
tapped
what.
into something.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He knew how to scare
He's
people. Yeah.
Yeah.
good. Yeah. He's very
But
good.
Blair Witch definitely I think affected all of us in high school or high school college because it was I remember it was so
loved it.
scary that I stayed up. Me and my friend Rebecca stayed up for 3 hours afterwards, just laughing. We were so scared we couldn't stop laughing about how scared we were.
It was so good.
Too
And
scary.
I went with my sister, and I do remember driving home, and this was when we were in Colorado, through the woods, and just be the whole time being like, what if Blair Witch runs across the road? What do we do? Like, just so like, oh my God, this is so scary. It was so fun. I loved it so much.
I like the idea that Blair Witch is specifically targeting people who have just seen the movie.
Oh, you
She's
just
like,
saw my
these
movie,
people are
huh?
already afraid of me. Most of the work has been done.
Yes.
Do you know what's funny? To go back to the idea that you lived in a ranch house and it wasn't scary. In Paranormal Activity, they kind of put it in like a townhouse, right? Like it was like I was like, I wonder if that's something that they thought about to be like, it doesn't have to be old. It could
Oh
be
yeah.
what was it, a loft style, or no? It was just like a little 2-story townhouse, right?
Yeah, I think so.
In the
Yeah,
first
because
one.
there's definitely stairs involved.
And then
Yeah.
the footprints and stuff.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love those movies so much. I
Now,
love
did
those
you ever
movies.
did Dippold ever trick you into going to the overnight camp out
No.
haunted stuff? No.
She tried to get me to go to that because, I mean, we're good friends. We've been friends for a long time, but I do think there is some part of me being involved in her Halloween activities where she knows that I am one of the easiest and biggest scares just in terms of like the level of reaction that I'm gonna have.
Yes.
I will say that I think my relationship with Holly has saved me from a lot of scares in my life because Holly is so afraid and has made it so clear to Dipple that like I will not tolerate any of this stuff that like I feel like I'm getting targeted way less. And
Oh.
when we first started dating, there was a couple of years where Dippled would be like, she would send me a thing where it's like, I almost bought this and hung this outside of your bathroom window. But then like, I know I can't do it because Holly would be mad at me.
That is
Now,
so funny.
And it would be like a little fake creepy guy that would be hanging on the outside of my
now,
window.
am I misremembering that the year that the Babadook thing happened,
Oh.
that you were at Trisha's house and I remember it so there's a meme out there. It's like what is the wording of the meme? It's like when it's
Like you dress up like the Babadook, but your friend has more of like a
a
chill,
casual
casual red wine vibe
Yes.
party or something.
So that meme, I'm sure everyone has seen it. Joe and
Yeah.
I were there when it happened. And I remember I was sitting on the couch and you were sitting on the chair and there was a window behind you. And I went, because she popped up right behind your shoulder. Am I remembering this correctly?
Yeah.
That sounds about
and-
right. That's so
And it was
funny.
so funny because her partner, Drew, came in and we're like, where's Katie? And he was like, I don't know. And then it was 20 minutes later.
Oh, that is so good.
It was, it's like you have those moments, like, because I remember being a kid and there was a Halloween where I like wanted to be Edward Scissorhands again, back to Tim Burton. And like I
Yes.
had my aunt make me working Scissorhands that she built out of vinyl, and she did my makeup, and it was like
Cool.
lavender with scars, and she did my hair and everything. And then when I like showed up to my friends to trick or treat, like one of them was a hobo, one of them was a soccer player, and they were like, we were just too old for that. And it was funny because I feel like that was Dipple's like adult version of it, where we were like, we're not doing it this
Yeah,
year.
she's like, it's a Halloween party. Let's go. And everybody's like, we're watching a movie. Like, just chilling out.
It's so perfect for somebody who loves horror that she has her own like Halloween tradition that comes back every year. Because I've met like younger comedy people who are like, that's one of my favorite things about Halloween, and like I kind of brag of like, I'm right there.
Yeah.
I could have almost been in the picture if I had sat in a different spot on the couch.
Yeah.
Like I did anything.
Oh, yeah,
to
I've
get invited to
absolutely
my
been like,
friend's
I
house.
know who Babadook is. I know that person. And people are like, whoa.
I know
It's so
Babadook.
funny. She's so funny.
Have you ever been to or seen any like psychic or any like
Yeah.
has anyone ever done any like tarot readings for you, or is that just all of us other
Nope.
freaks over here?
Just bunch
Nope. I mean, I've had friends who have done it. I know my sister did it at one point. I've never tried. I'm always like a little bit afraid, even though I know that they know not to go like, you're gonna die tomorrow. I'm always
Right.
afraid that you're gonna tell me something bad. But I've never done any of that. The other thing I was thinking about when I was like getting ready for this, I was like, I haven't had that many scary things happen to me, but I think I might be the scary thing, if that makes sense. In that, connected to my bedwetting, I've had weird sleep things my whole life, but I have night terrors. I have like a really bad
Oh.
night terror And I do think it's hereditary because my mom has stories from when she was a kid where she would do sleepwalking, where her eyes would be open and she would be talking.
Oh
And there
my
was one time where
God.
her father found her with a knife in the kitchen, which is very scary.
How old?
Like she was like 9 or 10 years old.
Oh,
But I do that. I do it less. But
Whoa.
whenever there's like a big change in my life or living situation, it happens more. It happened all the time in college because every year I was in a different
Yep.
dormitory or a different house or something. And my college friends would like wait for it to happen and then they would interview me. And I also always have no memory of it. So I wake up the next day and they're like, we talked to Sleepy Joe last night. And like, they would always be like, you look like you were trying to get something out of your bed. This is on brand for Kevin Prime Video, April 20th, where they would be like, they said, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm trying to get all these kittens out of my bed. I was having some sort of night terror about my bed being covered in kittens.
Whoa.
There was one time where it looked like I was eating something and they asked what it was. And I was like, these are those little Nor chips I got from the fire. And they were like, what the fuck does that mean? But
Whoa.
now my wife Holly, like it'll be horrible because sometimes I will just wake up screaming no like that, and she's like going from deep sleep to her husband screaming no. So, am I possessed?
Oh
That's my
my
question to you
I was
guys.
gonna say,
God.
are you a sleep paralysis demon?
Maybe I am.
Whoa.
Because I'm not. I have no memory of it, but I'm having some sort of thing happen while I'm unconscious.
Now, see, I
Whoa.
need you to go.
I should go and do like a whole sleep study and figure out what's wrong, and then they'll tell me I'm possessed, and then
Or that you are just like, yeah, they're like, oh, you have a slight sleep apnea. If you just need to breathe a little better, his oxygen is like.
and then I'm hooked up to a CPAP machine. That sounds scary to me.
That is really scary though, because there are people who, like Brandon Scott Jones has been on this podcast, and he had a story about astral projecting, like he leaves his body, and
Yes.
sometimes he
Wow.
gets scared that he can't get back in, and like one of the
Sure.
ways he would kind of wake himself back up was he would lick his lips, was like his little like trick to getting back in his body.
Isn't that wild?
But
So he feels like he's licking his lips like above his body, and that sucks him in.
yeah, because he's like feels like he's just not in his body at all, so it's like the one little thing he can like kind of
He's
That's
basically
the one
like
thing
trained
to
touch
himself
point.
kind of to do. Yeah.
What if
I
you're-
had one of these night terrors last week when I was in New York because I was in a hotel room, and the first night before Holly got there, I was by myself, and I woke up, and sometimes when I first snap out of it, I don't know who I am or where I am.
Whoa.
But the way I got myself back into reality on Tuesday night was, and I won't do it now, I shouted out my cell phone number. So everybody else on the 12th floor were like, what's that about? But that's
is
like,
so
by the time I got to the end of
funny.
the number, I was like, I know my cell phone. I know my cell phone. I know who I am. And then I went back to bed.
I know who I
That
am.
is so funny, Joe.
It really says something about how connected we are to our device.
A little too
I'm
connected,
nothing
man.
without my cell phone number.
Whoa.
646.
I
God,
wonder
that's
what that
that's
is.
so scary. I mean, it's like you said, if it's hereditary, I guess it's like there's a chemical that your body's just not producing to like keep you asleep, right? Like,
Yeah, it's got it.
Yeah.
It's definitely like we worked with like a very like witchy doula when Holly was pregnant, but who also was a nurse, so she had like a lot of like
Cool.
medical knowledge. So she would like get witchy and spiritual sometimes, but then she would also be like, this is happening because of Pitocin. Pitocin's only job is to make muscles quiver. It's because the brain is producing so much Pitocin. It's like,
oh,
that is almost spookier to me, that everything is just broken down to like, your brain isn't doing this one thing
Yes.
that it needs to do.
The brain
and
is like super spooky. It's super
very weird.
Super weird and scary.
all
especially
of our brains like did a million things so that we could all get on this podcast at the same time.
I mean, I think about like how long, I mean, this is just like mental health, but like I was 35 before I got on medication, and I was like, oh my God, my life was kind of terrible before. And now I have a functioning brain. And even still, it's not perfect, but like to be like, if medication can change it so much that I'm like, this shit's weird up here, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And it could be like the littlest thing is not enough or too much or whatever, and it's like, it's different. It's so weird.
I'm annoying
Freaks me
because
out.
of a hormone imbalance in my brain. I can't help it. Thing happening.
Sorry.
Makes me talk too much because I have anxiety and I have to fill the space.
I hate silence.
It's a form of hypervigilance to never shut up. Well, Joe, if you have any stories you want to tell, feel free to hop in at any moment. But we can also listen to a listener story if you're into that.
I'd love to listen to a listener story.
Okay, let's see.
Already.
I just pull them up. I don't know what they are. They just happen.
Hi, Betsy and Marcy. So excited to be sending this in. I had found your podcast through Cassie Askin, and ever since I've just been binging your episodes. They're so funny, but they're also, like, some of them are so terrifying. But it's super entertaining, and I listen a lot while I'm driving to and from work, so super fun. So the story that I have today definitely won't make you shit your pants. More of a feel-good paranormal story. So just to give you some context, I'm part of a circle of women who are like super spiritual. So there's like intuitive, psychics, mediums, that sort of thing. And one of the girls in the group does like sound baths as well as like tarot and other things. But I'd gone to her house once for a sound bath. It was super lovely. Just highly recommend to anyone who's interested. Anyways, so I went to her house for a sound bath. Before we started, we just like took a couple of minutes to talk about like what my intentions were. And honestly, if you hear that sound in the background, that's my cat sneezing.
Sneezing.
I didn't really have a specific intention for that. For that session, I just wanted to like relax and reset after a period of like high stress at work and in my personal life and whatever. She did a little tarot reading, which was great, and then we started the session. So I was lying down on like a super comfy mat. My eyes were covered with like an eye mask, and she was, doing her stuff with the sound bath. About halfway through, I felt a presence. So some background here. I'm very sensitive to the spiritual world. I can always like feel when there's a presence around, and I've been that way ever since I was very little. I don't hear anything. I don't see anything. It's just like knowing that there's something there, and I can feel if it's good or bad. So ever since I was little, I've had this. I've learned how to make the bad ones go away, but that's for another time. So in this session, I felt that there was a presence there. It was a nice presence, and it was definitely female. And so I'm like thinking, who's here? And I can like almost, it was so weird. Like I could like visualize this presence holding my hand. And then it just like came to me that it was my mother-in-law who had recently passed away. And I've been feeling her everywhere, and I can it's almost like I can hear her talking to me. I know I said I can't hear anything, so it's not like hearing somebody speak out loud. It's more just like messages going into my head. So anyways, it's all very beautiful. And so I felt this presence, and I was like, oh, it feels like she's like holding my hand maybe or something. Anyways, I was like, this is nice. Yeah. And then after the session, my friend and I were chatting about the session, and she was asking me how I felt, and then she just like looked at me and was like, I just want to let you know that about halfway through the session, somebody joined us. And I was like, oh my God, you felt that too? She's like, yeah, it was like an older woman, maybe. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, okay, like that's super validating and like just makes me feel less, I don't know, crazy. And so we were chatting, and then I was telling her, I was like, I think that was my mother-in-law. Like, I felt like it was her, and she was there, and she was like, yeah, it was a very peaceful presence. They were just observing. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so nice. So that was it. And it was just so validating to have somebody else actually just like confirm what I had experienced, because I've never had that before. I've honestly kind of keep this stuff to myself for the most part, because I don't want to sound too crazy to people who, especially people who don't believe it or whatever. Obviously she does. So she kind of validated that, and it was just really nice. Made me feel really good. And I do feel my mother-in-law around kind of like all the time. I have a son, and it's her only like grandchild. So anyways, that's my story. Thanks so much for everything that you do. Like I said, definitely didn't make you shit your pants, but hopefully it made you feel good.
That's so cool.
Oh, that's so
He
nice.
has a very narrow view of what can make somebody shit their pants.
Yeah. Sometimes it's pretty positive when you shit your pants, you know? That was so beautiful, I shit my pants. Thank you.
Had a real release.
Wow.
Really, the whole time I was like imagining holding my father-in-law who's still alive, but like if he was dead, like him coming back and holding my hand as a ghost wouldn't be the weirdest thing that's ever happened between the two of us. Like,
Yeah,
I feel like anybody that I visit as a ghost, I'm not going to be holding your hand. I'm
No.
not going to be hugging you. I'm going to be like standing far away. And being
No,
like,
you're.
hello.
You know what? That's the kind
Hello.
of ghost where people are like, the Hat Man. It's the Hat Man.
Oh, yeah.
That's what he is. It's just a Joe ghost being like, I don't want to interrupt. I'm just standing.
I
here.
gotta
just
start.
here.
I gotta start hugging people. I don't want to turn into a hat man.
Well, hugging people's not better. That's scary too.
The hugging man.
That made me think, like, when Trish was pregnant, our friend Trish was pregnant with Quincy, we went to a sound bath, and Moby was there.
Yeah, he was.
Spooky.
Very
It was,
spooky.
like, Moby was there with maybe a 22-year-old, and it wasn't that long ago. So Moby being a real creep, I was like,
he's
hard
keeping
to
it, keeping
hard-
it alive.
it was hard to relax.
That's
with
always
him
been
there.
his vibe, right?
Yeah. He's a
Yeah,
weirdo.
yeah.
Did it distract you from the heat? I've never done a sound bath, but I would imagine I don't want to see any late 90s, early 2000s
No.
music.
It
There.
was
I feel like it would
distracting.
kind of take me out of it.
Yeah, I do think
did.
the whole time I'd be like, what's Moby doing? What's he doing
I've
during
done,
the
like-
sound bath?
The whole time I'd be thinking about that video where he gets. Do you ever see the video where he kind of gets lightly electrocuted?
Oh. Yeah, I know.
No,
what you're
which
talking
one is
about.
that?
It shouldn't be funny because like nobody getting electrocuted is funny, but it's so light that it's a little bit funny.
It's a little-
Wait,
He's
is
like-
it
He's
real?
either getting ready to. It's real. He's either getting ready to perform or he's performing, and then like a shock goes through him, and then he just like lays down on the floor for a little bit. But everybody at this radio station is like, we don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And then he gets up and then he performs. But
Oh,
he actually reacts the way I think I would if I got lightly electrocuted, which is
Just kinda like,
don't
let
look
me-
at me and let me lay down. For
Let
a
me
little
lay
bit.
down, check and make sure my insides are not cooking. Okay, I can play.
so I would imagine you've never done a sound bath then, right? So I did one at the Integratron in the desert.
Oh
Heard of
yeah.
that one.
That I would recommend that because it's such an interesting space and it's all wood inside of it. So it really like it does have like a very it really affects your body. Like you're just vibrating the entire time. Or falling asleep but still. And then we all had the weirdest dreams that night because it was our friend was in town for Thanksgiving and it was it was a weird time anyway because I had just gotten mugged like 2 days earlier or 3 days earlier, and then we all had like lucid crazy dreams. All of us had like the craziest dreams, like 9 of us. It was so, but it was also like really cool. And then you hear about the aliens and stuff and all the telepathic plans this man, George Van Tassel, was having out there, just being a real weirdo out in the desert.
Whoa.
I gotta do it. I gotta try it. I've heard about it for so long.
I should try it too.
Even just to go see the place and like hear about his plans, and it's really cool to be like, he really just built this because he said an alien told him to? That's crazy.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of like one of the best case scenarios for that. Like, it's
Yeah.
done very well and people know it and go to it all the time.
Yes. Yeah. Whoa.
You can buy some crystals if you like too, which have nothing to do with it, but sure.
Hey, get those crystals. It is nice that, like, the friend who was doing it validated everything that they were feeling, you know, which that's so nice. Of like, yes, somebody did come and hung out during half of it, and it's like, okay, good.
It's like my old haunted apartment, Joe, that everyone we know has lived there.
Yeah.
And so it makes me feel like, well, even if you second guess yourself when you have an experience, to be like, well, everyone else had something happen there too, so I'm not full of shit.
Yep.
It's nice to have that. It makes you feel like less like, I don't know. It's nice to have that confirmation, I think.
Yes. Yeah, big time. Big
Yeah.
time. Oh,
Well, this has been really fun, Joe.
yeah,
Thanks
you,
for having me,
Joe.
guys.
I'm
What a fun
excited.
talk.
And I hope everyone streams Kevin on Amazon. I already
Yes.
put it in well, we're recording this before it's out, but I put it in my queue already. And I watched the trailer. I'm like, just want them to know people are interested in this trailer.
We're excited. I'm going to watch it for sure. I'm pumped.
I found out this will already be out, but it's coming because I kept having people, like my mom was like, so at midnight I can watch it? And it's like, well, you're not going to be awake at midnight. But it actually
That's so
comes out
cute.
at 3 a.m. And my mom and dad do get up at like 4 a.m. because their cat wakes them up for food. So I'm like, you guys might be the first people in the world to watch
That
it.
would be
maybe.
so cute if they were the
I
very
can't
first
wait to
people to watch it.
I'm also interested to see if people's pets are recognizing the pets on screen.
Yes. Yeah.
Cool.
We didn't like actively put anything in there, but like there is enough like real pet things that like maybe when Kevin is chasing hoodie strings, a cat will be like, "Ooh, I like that." My
Yeah.
sister's cat really does love when there's like fish on TV. She does like that.
Yeah,
And she likes people with low voices. When I FaceTime with my sister, she like comes over to the phone and is like very interested in my voice. So
Oh, that's
hopefully
funny.
she's going to listen to this podcast.
We need more cats listening to this for sure.
Absolutely. Every stream counts, guys.
Every stream.
Well, Joe, thank you so much. And tell everyone if they want to find you, I guess like follow Joe Wengert, right? Where are you at?
Yeah, I'm on Blue Sky and I'm on Instagram are like the two things I'm doing right now. I guess I'm on
Yes.
TikTok too, but nothing's there. But follow me if you want. I don't know, maybe something will be
Follow
there.
Joe,
Something'll happen.
everybody.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, thank you so much, Joe.
Yeah, thank you, Joe.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for listening to A Funny Feeling.
If you have a paranormal experience that you would like to share, please send us a voice memo, or you can email us just a letter at funnyfeelingpod@gmail.com. I'm Marcy.
I'm Betsy, and don't shit your pants.